Out and About Production presents. Hey, good morning. BJ and Joel Nando out and about on the Recumbents, heading up Cheyenne Blvd Bike Lane to the Starsmoor Center at the base of North Cheyenne Canyon, North Cheyenne Canyon Park here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. It's a pretty nice day. A bit more cloudy than the other day though. Oh man, there's a nice Class B. Ooh, sweet. Yeah. And that's Joe up front with her wingman Stanley, the one-eyed minion. Of course, I have my wingman. I have Mini Groot. But I can't show him to you. Maybe I can. Let's see. I don't know if you can see him or not. Might be able to see the top of his head. Yeah. Well, the first part of the video is us coming up the Tejon Street bike path, and which has lots of stops because of the I-25 cuts into Tejon Street. But even that's a lot better than it was a year ago. But yeah, the last time we were on this, it was in terrible shape. You couldn't see the lines, you know, or anything. They have really improved this one. They not only have a bike lane, but they have a walking lane, you know, yeah, a walker's lane too. So that's just really nice. We're going by the sacred grounds here. We're not stopping there today. We kind of decided just to go, I mean, they've never told us we couldn't, but we've gotten some kind of frowns when we've stopped there, you know, pulled out our brown bag lunch and just bought a couple of iced teas. Although, you know, for the price of iced tea, I don't know why they'd complain so much. Actually, they never really have, but it's just looks, you know, you get. So I think we'll try to, next time we come up here, we'll try to make sure we have enough money to actually buy lunch, because they do have pretty good sandwiches and other things there. They have good pastries if you can eat pastry. Of course, with Joe being a type 2 diabetic, we don't get to do pastries, which is really sad. It's too bad that nobody in town will, you know, do a bakery that, or a coffee shop that has some sugar-free stuff. Really, I mean, it's just a bummer. Yeah, they even, look at this, they even fixed this all up. They got crosswalks now. And of course, you can say we had a really hard rain last night. We haven't had much rain till last night, and boy, I mean, it rained. It rained hard over by our place, so they put a stop in here. So I guess this is technically the Cheyenne Blvd bike path, because they've got the road going down that way, and there's no bike path on it. So we're going to use the bumper here that they put in for the walkers as a bike lane. Luckily, it's just wide enough for our. Of course, I doubt they'd care if we use the walking lane if. As long as we get out of the way when there's a walker. Something tells me they wouldn't mind. They should have put like a walker symbol and a Shero symbol on it, you know, that way you could know you could use both. And you got some clown parking up here, turkey butt. But he could be construction of some kind, so. Yeah, like I said, the rain was really hard. Watch out for this truck. He's got backup lights on, Joe. Okay, go around. Nobody behind us. No. I guess he was waiting on us. But if he would have put a turn signal on, we would have known. And of course, the walkers lane had. We could probably use this double wide sidewalk, but since we're going right over here to the Starsmoor Center, we'll just jump in the car lane. I don't know why, but Joe just went to 3. Well, that's okay. I would have stopped and tell them thank you, man. They fixed this up nicely. Okay. Yeah, here we are at the Starsmoor Visitor Nature Center. Morning. All right, so we're gonna pull in here, and we're gonna go over the bench here and kind of eat our lunch here today. Yeah, nobody's here. That's amazing. So we'll just go over here and park in our space that they didn't realize. Oh, it's not open. Oh, bummer. No, it says please come in, so it is open. Good. All right, well, this is the Starsmoor Center. This is the very base of North Cheyenne Canyon, and this is where some of the trails start. If you go up North Cheyenne Canyon, make sure to visit Helen Hunt Falls. They have another nature center up there, and then if you go all the way to Gold Camp Road, that will take you to Victor and Cripple Creek, but best have a four-wheel drive. Not really a good, I mean, I've seen people make it in cars. In fact, when I was a kid, I did it in a car, but I wouldn't recommend it. All right, so we'll get back to you after lunch. Bye for now. Hey, we're back. Yeah. Oops, gotta release my parking brake. So we ran back through down through kind of the extreme southern end of downtown on the Tejon Street bike lane, and then over on a side street to get over to Shook's Run here. We're on Shook's Run Trail right now. Joe's right behind me. And yeah, so we went up to the Starsmoor Center, and wow, we just wanted to say, if anybody from the city of Colorado Springs watches these videos of ours, we just want to say thank you. The newly paved and repainted Cheyenne Blvd Bike Lane, all the way up and all the way down from the Starsmoor Center at the foot of North Cheyenne Canyon, is just excellent. And that used to be kind of a pain in the bottom end for a long time. You know, a lot of the bike lane was gone, but when they put in a bunch of new curbing up by Cheyenne Mountain Junior High, they took out a lot of the bike lane and everything. So it was kind of hard to get up there, but now it's fantastic. I mean, they even went as far as putting a bike lane down a little bit of Cheyenne Road, so you don't have to on a thin spot on Cheyenne Boulevard on the one side. So yeah, just big kudos to the city of Colorado Springs. Man, we really appreciate it. I'll tell you, that was just unbelievably great. It's going to be a real pleasure to go up to the Starsmoor Center or to the Sacred Grounds Cafe now. We also found a really cool picnic spot. Just, you know, it's basically the next, as you come out of the, as you get back on the road from the Starsmoor Center, the next right, you'll see a really, really pretty rock wall. And take that next right and follow that around, and it will take you to several picnic tables right next to a creek. I mean, just wow, really nice. So we did a picnic lunch today, you know, instead of stopping at so we'll stop someplace else for our afternoon tea. Don't know where yet. It's a pretty nice day. It's only 12:37 Mountain Standard Time, or Mountain Daylight Time, however they say it now. I don't know. They say it used to do it both ways, but yeah, it's been a very nice day. A little more clouds than the other day we were out, but not bad at all. And they don't really have much of a chance of rain because we got a lot of rain last night. It rained like crazy. So it's like I don't know what kind of construction they're doing here, but they're doing some kind of construction down into the creek there. Oh, we got a whole bunch of people over here. See if we can sneak by. Hey. Morning. Excuse us. Thank you. Hey. Yeah, part of the Wildcat construction crew. Wildcat Construction has been around here for a long time. They've done a lot of different construction stuff. A lot of bicycle stuff too. You know, bike trails and stuff like that. So this is part of Shook's Run Trail. It's a bit overgrown because there used to be a school here. You know, one of them, I don't know what you call it. You know, the New Age schools. They've got a different name. I can't think of them. But that one closed down, which is kind of surprising because it seems like they had a lot of kids. I'm going to let let Joe go by me here so she can catch the light. She does that for me so nicely when I got a camera in my hand. But yeah, I found out I switched the she's gonna have to get out. They made that just far enough away that even I have to get out. But what am I trying to think of? I'll think of it here, but I just haven't got it in my brain here. Well, I don't know what I was thinking. All right, we're gonna watch out, watch out, watch out. Okay. Okay. But I was going to talk about the rattle you might be hearing when I was using the GoPro 6. I had it in a different cage. It was in a metal cage, and although it was super hard to get the camera in and out. But so I put it in the plastic cage I've got for it. But I've noticed the plastic cage rattles. So if you hear a rattle, that's where that's coming from. So I'll probably end up putting the metal case back on for the hard-mounted GoPro 6, because that's hard-mounted onto the a little bumpy here. There we go. As you can see, it's hard-mounted right onto a T-space bar, and but yeah, it's in the plastic case, which I like better because it's easier to use, and the camera's not so tight to get in and out, but it does rattle a bit. So I kind of forced the back down a little bit to see if that would help. So in the second part, where we're going downhill from Starsmoor Center, from the picnic area, just I guess you'd call it just south of, actually it'd be just east of thank you. Poor guy probably never figured he'd have a couple of trikes sneaking up on him. But yeah, this is the ugly industrial part of light industrial part of Shook's Run. The rest of it's quite urban, but it's a little more scenic. At least they trimmed the weeds and the grasses, because at times they let them grow so much it's really hard to get through. But yeah, I know we take you guys a lot on Shook's Run, but the reason is that it's just an easy trail to get back to different directions, you know. And as far as I know, the creek is Shook's Run Creek. I've never seen it listed with an official name, so I'm just going to call it Shook's Run Creek. You can see all these sandy spots on the trail. That's because, like I said, we had a pouring rain last night for about an hour, maybe a little more. It just poured buckets. Luckily, it didn't start till late at night, so. But there was a real heavy chance of rain yesterday, so we didn't ride. We just got out for an early walk in the morning, and howdy. But yeah, on the first part where I was using the GoPro Mini 11, I I didn't have the wireless mic on. I was just using the built-in mic, so it's not quite as strong. So you will notice a difference, because on this leg here I'm using the wireless mic. So I just wanted to get in a little more recording time. Good looking old truck. I don't know what that is. Oh man. Whew. Yes, some really rough differences, between the trail and the street right there. Got another one coming up here. Transitions, yeah. Really rough transitions between the trail and the street. The trail's nice, but the streets, when it goes down, it's really rough. And this one over here is even rougher. Although it used to be much worse, but they at least they basically rounded off the corner of the cement piece that was sticking up so bad. Because it was real, it would make the whole trike bounce. Coming or going, didn't really matter. Oh. Alright. Got this bit of brick here, and then we got a bounce here and a bounce here. Alright, there we go. Yeah, it used to be a lot worse. But just want to say thanks for coming along for the ride. Now that I got the new laptop computer, and hopefully, guys and gals, this the video I'm shooting with the GoPro Mini will be lighter. Several people have told me that it seemed kind of dark, and they were right. But I honestly just couldn't figure it. The minis don't have the screen in the back, so it's not like you can adjust a lot of the features with the camera. You have to go into the app and then use something called ProTune and go through that way. Well, it took me a while to figure out how to do that. I'm not real tech savvy, but I finally did. And I changed it from, I hope it will be lighter, because it was set on a -2, which I believe on the scale was as dark as it could be, and I put it to 0, so hopefully it won't be like too light now. Howdy. And so yeah, so I did a lot of experimenting on this particular video going on, so just have to see how everything works. Coming up to my favorite intersection on any trail. This is the best light on the planet, man. It basically tells people not to turn on a red, and also lets you go at the same time. I swear, when they have intersections like these, they should all be set up like this one. That would be fantastic. Like I said, we're on the Shooks Run Trail. Kind of heading back. Don't know where we're going to end up. Thought about maybe ending up at the drive-in, Tasty Freeze drive-in, but they're about ready to close for the season, and the last time they were ready to close for the season, they didn't have any iced tea. They had ice cream and they had sodas, and we can't do the sodas or the ice cream, so we were there not too long ago. We had they're really super good chili fries, and then we try to go there as often as we can afford. But because they're a good little business, and the people who howdy, and the people who took it over and been running it for the last couple of years or so, they're so much nicer than the people they had there before. So we like to support them. I said, Yeah, the Shooks Run Trail is made up of, they have several little parks. This is what they call Mid Shooks Run. And they have little parks and greenways and stuff like that. You know, green spaces, whatever they want to call them. And so it's nice, and it, you know, because when we came down from the apartment, you know, we used the Weber Street Bike Lane, you know, to get into town. And you know, I mean, it's a good bike lane, but you know, lots of cars, especially once you get to downtown. Thank you. And but you know, since to get up to Starsmoor Center at the foot of North Cheyenne Canyon Park, you have to use a lot of bike lane, and some of the bike lanes are really busy, and so kind of nice, you know, on the second half of the ride to get off of the bike lanes and get onto a nice bike path that you know, doesn't have any auto traffic you have to deal with, so you don't have to play with cars, as we call it. There's another little playground. Green space. Now they even have, you know, like a Shooks Run neighborhood association, and they have a couple of big shindig events, you know, along the trail. And of course there's the Good Neighbors Meeting House that's right on the trail, and that's a great place to get lunch or a coffee or a tea or good stuff like that, you know. But that's a little too close. We won't be stopping there. He said, I'm not sure where we're going to stop today, but I'll probably once we get over the bridge here, I'll probably back off and stop the video for a little while, buddy, and we'll catch you somewhere else on the ride. Come on, up. Thank you. Howdy. Okay, well, when we get to the end of this section, I'm going to go ahead and shut down the camera for now, and we'll catch you back on another section. Try to get a little bit of everything we do today, but mainly I kind of wanted to you know, get a little you know, show you guys the new and massively improved Cheyenne Blvd Bike Lane up to North Cheyenne Canyon City Park. And man, it's still stunned, you know, because it's so improved. It's just unbelievable. And usually when they tear everything up and then they try to refix it, they just patch it, you know. They didn't do that this time, man. They redid everything, and they did a really good job. You know, the city gets a lot of grief, but sometimes you just you have to give them their due when they really do it good. Okay, I think we'll just follow this all the way over here, and because this light up here at this crossing is usually a pretty long one, unless we just happen to catch it perfectly. Passing on your right. Thank you very much. Toodaloo-loo-loo-loo. We're coming up to the crossing now. So I'll let Joe punch that button for me and I'll pop off the camera here. Alright. We'll get back at you. Bye. How is that button? Hey! Well, we're back. We stopped off at a little coffee and cocktail place called Stir, S-T-I-R. And now we're on the Rock Island Trail. And we're heading to, we're just going to add a little bit before we end our ride. And we're going to head down the Greenway just a little bit, and then over to well, the Pikes Peak Greenway, and then we're going to head over to the Mesa Springs Greenway, but we're only going to do the northern section, which ends up the road here. Oh, more gas-powered bikes that aren't supposed to be on here. Those are illegal. They're not supposed to be on these trails. I hope if the city manages to see that they know, because we have gas-powered bikes, gas-powered bicycles. We've seen gas-powered, the tote goats, mini bikes, up to full gas-powered motocross bikes on this section of the trail, and on the Rock Island, and even on Cottonwood Creek the other day. In fact, we almost got ran off the road, literally, by about a dozen mini bike riders. Just riding, just hauling buns. These trails are supposed to have a max speed of 15 miles an hour, but it's not posted anywhere. Well, okay, I take that back. 20 miles an hour here in Colorado Springs, which is too fast. Should be 15. The state law is 15. But yeah, so we're just kind of finishing up our ride. Thanks for coming along, and we'd really appreciate it if you'd if you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up. Like the video, subscribe. Love to have you as a subscriber. And thank you to our longtime subscribers. Appreciate you guys hanging around with us. And also, please share our video with anybody that you might think might have an interest. It doesn't even have to be, they don't even have to ride a recumbent trike. Just maybe you want to see some of Colorado Springs or something like that. Or maybe just find out what it's like to ride a recumbent trike. And what it's like is very comfortable. No stress on your shoulders, no stress on your neck, no stress on your back. Yes, you do have to work your legs, but with a recumbent trike, you don't really force your legs down, you kind of push your legs out. So it's more like a piston, in like a Subaru car or a Goldwing motorcycle, It's more like a piston. It's cool. We got a hand racer here. Howdy. Yeah, those are some cool folks, man, because that can't be easy. Because I know my legs aren't that strong anymore. Now that I'm 70, but my arms are really not that strong. Lost a lot of muscle mass between the ages of 60 and 70 for some reason. I don't know where it went. I'm not doing any less, physical stuff, but I guess that's just age. So, wow, we have a parade here. This is the Fontanero Yard for the City of Colorado Springs. Thank you, City of Colorado Springs. Okay, well, we're going to try to see if we can get across here. Yes. Okay. All right, well, to pick up the Mesa Greenway going north, we got to come on down this bike lane here and hopefully we can catch the green light, not have to stop. Don't see any traffic, so that's good. Well, there is some right over there, though. But looks like we caught it good. Okay, up the hill, 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 up the hill. Got Joe behind me there. Well, we got a light here, so we'll have to stop. But yeah, we really would appreciate it if you guys would, share the video, because we're getting close to 500 subscribers, and not that that means anything. I mean, as far as, you have to have a minimum of 1,000 subscribers before you can make, whatever pittance of income you know. And I don't expect to ever get 1,000. Okay, so now we're taking the north part of the Mesa Greenway, and it doesn't go very far. Just probably like a mile at the most, and then sadly it ends at the American Furniture Warehouse building, because if right on the other side of this wall is I-25, Interstate 25, north and south. So, and basically when it runs, when this trail or this greenway runs into the American Furniture Warehouse building, well, there's nowhere else for it to go. But if you went south, if you went south instead of going north like we did, you could take that all the way down to down into the west side of Colorado Springs. But this is the short part that we don't do that often, so I thought we'd try to finish out our video. As you can see, that's why they call it a greenway, because it's a green space, lots of green. And with the rain we had last night, it really greened it up. We've had a lot of rain, well, not recently, I should take that back. But except for last night, it really poured hard last night. But we've had more rain this year than we normally have. Check that out. That's too cute. You wonder why that got left there. Huh. But we've had more rain, this spring and summer than we've had in, at least the last 3 years. So it may take a while before our trees down here in Colorado Springs start turning. Now up in the mountains, the serious mountains, up by Aspen and Vail and Frisco and Breckenridge and all them places, and even higher, they're already starting to turn. In fact, they might even be starting to turn at Cripple Creek. Because Cripple Creek's about 9,000, or not quite, but pretty close. And we're only 6 here in Colorado Springs. So, yeah, like I said, it's a really pretty area, And it's really nice that they did this, you know, for these folks that live right over here, because without the sound wall and this greenway space, you know, oh, the noise would be horrendous. Because I'm sure, you know, because this I-25 runs 24 hours a day. It rarely slows down. So, you know, they have a lot of this white noise, you know. And it's pretty loud. I'm sure you can hear it. This microphone's pretty good about picking up sound. And there's no real way for me to edit it out of there, except for like put a lot of music on it, you know. It's really all I can do. That's pretty much why, you know, if you see spots where, you know, I'm not talking, especially if I'm using the hard mounted camera, the GoPro 6, then that one there, basically it helps out to put the music to, because otherwise you hear a lot of hum and road noise. And you know, we have old trikes. My trike is 14 years old. It's a 2011, and Joe's trike is a 16 years old. It's a 2009. So they've been around a long time. So they have some creaks and groans and, you know, stuff that mechanical apparatuses just pick up over time, you know, like your car or your motorcycle or whatever, you know. Just odd little things, odd little noises. But yeah, like I said, this is really, it's really pretty, you know. Really enjoy it. It's a shame it's not longer. It would be cool if it was about twice as long, but it makes a nice ending for the video. Oh, a little bit of broken up concrete here. Howdy. As you can see, we're just about to the wall. And that striped building over there, that's the American Furniture Warehouse. So, this will be the official end of the ride. Just use this to turn around. Turn around, turn around, turn around. All right. Well, again, thanks for coming along. We do appreciate it. See if I can get Joe to stop over here. Where is she? There she is. So yeah, from BJ and Joe Ondo, out and about on the Recumbents. Where else would we be? All right. Till we see you again, happy trails. Bye, folks.